Why are the 7 deadly sins actually sins? 1. Pride. Opposite virtue. Humility. Pride is the worst of all the capital sins, but it's not pride in the everyday sense of the word. Feeling satisfied with your achievements is fine, but when left unchecked, pride can lead to vanity. This creates an overwhelming sense of self-importance. It blinds you to God's grace and gives you the feeling of superiority.
Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. 2. Wrath. Opposite virtue. Patience. Wrath means anger. We become angry at people because they've offended us, but the Bible says that we should forgive each other. Jesus taught forgiveness. That pent-up anger slowly turns to hatred. Hatred leads to revenge, launching a vicious cycle.
In your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry, and do not give the devil a foothold.
Ephesians chapter 4, verses 26 to 27. 3. Lust. Opposite virtue. Chastity. Uncontrolled lust leads to immoral sexual acts. St. Thomas Aquinas reasoned that it unloosens the human spirit. Lust makes you forget reason. It leads you to commit adultery and even rape.
For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world.
1 John chapter 2, verse 16. 4. Envy. Opposite virtue. Kindness. Envy and jealousy are destructive. Cain killed his brother Abel because of envy. The Pharisees plotted to kill Jesus out of envy. Being envious of other people's fortune isn't a sin in and of itself, but when you let envy fester in your heart, it leads to horrible consequences.
A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot.
Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30. 5. Greed. Opposite virtue. Charity. Greed goes way beyond material goods. A person can also be greedy for fame, power, attention, etc. The more you have of something, the more you want of it. It's a hunger that can never be satiated. This is why greed is a kind of spiritual disease. St. Thomas Aquinas argues that greed is a sin against one's neighbor. One man can't possess too much of something without depriving another.
Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10. 6. Gluttony. Opposite virtue. Temperance. Gluttony means overindulgence. It refers to food, drinks, and material things in general. But not everyone who overeats is a glutton. Overindulgence only becomes a sin when it deprives others. The most obvious example is hoarding food in times of famine. Just like greed, gluttony eats you up from the core. It affects your life choices and the way you treat other people.
A discerning son heeds instruction, but a companion of gluttons disgraces his father.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse 7. 7. Sloth. Opposite virtue. Diligence. Most people think that sloth is the same as laziness, but sloth is more than just a reluctance to work. It's about reluctance to try. Not making an effort to make our lives better is a disservice to God. It's taking everything that He has given us for granted.
The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 4.